Take me riding in the car, car, take me riding in the car, car. Take you riding in my car, car, I'll take you riding in my car.
Henry Ford came in and was the first to really mass produce anything on an assembly line. There were over 15 million of these cars that were produced, and the basic models remained unchanged from the beginning to the end. There were some smaller upgrades to it, but it basically remained unchanged. They started out at a price of about $890, and then because of the assembly line and the efficiencies that we gained through that and through the production, the price came down over time to about $350. They produced so many that the common laborer then could afford one. This is a 4-cylinder car. It produces about 20 horsepower. There are 2 speeds on it, low and a high. It has 3 pedals and 3 levers in here. You're going to adjust the throttle with a lever here. You adjust the spark advance with another lever. There are no pumps on this car. You know, when we had all the cars now have water pumps, fuel pumps, things like that. That's one of the things about it. It's very simple. The fuel tank, which is not really it would never make it past the safety standards today, but the fuel tank is actually under the seat. It's above the engine, so it's just a gravity feed system. There's no pump pumping it up to the engine. It's just a gravity feed going to the engine. This thing rides amazingly smooth. When Tyler and I went out earlier this morning, we were coming up on a speed bump. He said, "What's a speed bump?" And I said, "No, I want you to see how it'll handle it." We've had this in the possession of the dealership since sometime in the 1920s, I understand. I've worked there since 1974, and it was sitting around then, wasn't running, been in storage. We got it out and did a basic restoration because it was our 100-year anniversary at the dealership this year. We're utilizing it as a promotion. I have not cranked it cold before.
It accelerates well. I guess that's because it's so light, right? 20 horsepower, that's amazing.
This has got a 292 cubic inch engine in it, a 2-barrel carburetor. It's got a 2-speed transmission, rear wheel drive.
We're just taking a huge leap forward, and we're going to look at the accumulated progress and innovation that have been made. So with that.
But you got to understand, guys, the context of historical significance. This car here, 1915, they started development in 1908. The Wright brothers flew their first airplane in 1903. So this car right here is in the same era that we're talking about the invention of flight and the discovery of flight in the United States. And so that's the technology that we're talking about here. Now all of a sudden in 1950s, we're in the space race, right? And we're talking about coming off of World War II because all the car manufacturers shut down during the war because why? They had to make aviation equipment, they had to make military equipment and that kind of stuff. So these automobile companies shut down production and they built military equipment. And so after World War II, the car companies cranked back up again. So the cars themselves got big, they got long, they got low, They got fins on them so that they would be aesthetically pleasing. So this is a Ford Fairlane 500. They had 4 different engines that they put in there, anywhere from 200 to 320 horsepower. This one is the mid-range engine. It's a 292, and they had a 6-cylinder model, and they had 3 V8 models. And the V8 models, the highest performance one, was designed for police interceptors.
Dr. Mills, what did you say the horsepower was here?
This one is about 240.
Who remembers what the horsepower was over there on the Model T? 20. So that's a 12-fold increase in horsepower. And what does that do? It lets you go a lot faster. It lets you have a lot bigger, more comfortable car.
Sure. So this car is all steel. It was designed to protect the occupants because the car itself was supposed to withstand the damage. On a new car, you have all the safety features like airbags and all that kind of stuff. In 1957, guys, only 6% of the cars that were sold like this had seat belts in them. They were options in 1957, and only 6% of the people. So this car has never had a seat belt in it. It has no airbags. The dashboard itself is made out of solid steel. So you've got to be really careful, you know, about that, because there's nothing to keep you from getting tossed around in the automobile. They don't have any air conditioning. It was not an option on these cars in 1957. This car has no power steering. It has no power brakes. So if you take a look at it and you sit in the driver's seat, the steering wheel is about this big around. And that's for geometric leverage. So in order to turn the car, especially when it's not moving, you have to wrestle it one way or the other. The mechanics are so precise in there, it just sounds like a sewing machine.
What's the miles per gallon?
This one gets 16.
Okay. How many gallons is it like?
18.
But by the 50s, you could go a lot farther, and there was fast food stores, and there was gas stations everywhere, and the interstate highways were being built. Right. So you have to realize there's a huge shift in that, not just the auto technology, but in all the complementary things, the roads and the services, hotels, everything else is changing right along with it.
Introducing the entirely new Ford Fusion. With a turbocharged EcoBoost engine and a hybrid that doubles the fuel economy of the average vehicle.
You probably drive something that's got most of this technology, but you might not know what's going on. So I want to really look at the differences and the improvements that we've accumulated in the past 50 years.
This engine is a 1.5 liter, and this is what our terminology is EcoBoost. What that technology has several things. First of all, it has a turbocharger, which is going to push air into the engine, and it's driven off a heat expansion coming out of the exhaust. This one also is going to, instead of a carburetor, there's no carburetor on this one or any of your modern cars. This one will inject the gasoline directly into the cylinder after the air has been compressed. Now we have airbags, and really what you got within that airbag is an explosive charge that's set off. If you've ever heard one set off, it's just like a gun going off. And it blows it up, but there are holes in it. It's just going to absorb you, and you're pushing the air out. It's not going to stay blown up. Another thing with these, they're engineered with what's called crumple zones. In other words, this thing is designed for the vehicle to collapse so that it is absorbing that energy before it gets to the passenger compartment. Fuel mileage now on the, what we're at, 28? 28. Highway 36. This is four-wheel disc brakes, which is disc, and you're clamping on it. But the thing this one has as a safety feature is the ABS control. If you hit the brakes and one of them starts to skid, it senses that and it releases that wheel momentarily. This one is a front wheel drive. The engine, instead of setting front to rear, is setting sideways. One of the reasons here too on the front wheel drive is to help reduce some of the complexity of it, to help with the weight of the vehicle. It helps with, particularly in cold and wet conditions, control of the vehicle, because your drive wheels now are on underneath the engine where you've got more weight sitting right on top of it.
What's the horsepower on this?
The horsepower on this is about 190 horsepower out of a 1.5 liter engine.
Click clank, open up a door, girls. Click clank, open up a door, boys. Front door, back door, clickety clack, take you riding in my car.
I want to thank Dr. Mills and Mr. Owens for bringing these cars and showing them to us. I'll just close on this and I'll let you go, and if you want to hang around for a few minutes and take a picture and whatnot and take a closer look, by all means. Why is the car today faster, more comfortable, more fuel efficient, more powerful? I mean, it's better on every dimension. Why is that? Is it because the executives at Ford are more caring people than they were in 1915? Because they're better people? Because they're trying to make more money, and in a competitive economy, the only way to be successful is make more money. I've said it. It's to innovate. You've got to constantly come up with a better product, and that's what I hope we've observed here.
Take me riding in the car, car, take me riding in the car, car. Take you riding in my car, car, I'll take you riding in my